On the glossy runway of a private jet terminal, a scene unfolded that no one who witnessed it would ever forget. A wealthy businessman, dressed in a sharp suit, pointed mockingly at a young black woman in a cleaner's uniform. His words dripped with arrogance as he belittled her, declaring that if she could ever fly the plane parked behind them, he would marry her on the spot. The crowd around them laughed, assuming it was an impossible dare. But what they didn't know was that beneath her uniform and quiet demeanor lay a secret so powerful it would not only silence their laughter, but also shatter the millionaire's ego in front of everyone. This is not just a story about pride and power, it's a story about prejudice, resilience, and a twist that no one saw coming. The story begins with Maya, a young woman who worked long shifts as a cleaner at one of the city's most luxurious private airports. Each day, she scrubbed the floors of terminals where billionaires strolled with tailored suits and designer luggage. Her uniform was simple, her gloves worn, but her posture carried quiet strength. Yet to the people who passed her, she was invisible, just another worker, someone to overlook or dismiss. The airport itself was a world of wealth and exclusivity, where expensive jets gleamed under the sun and staff rushed to serve the elite. Maya had been there for years, watching powerful men and women board planes that symbolized privilege she could never touch. But little did anyone know that her connection to those jets went far deeper than cleaning them. Behind her calm presence, Maya carried a past that most couldn't imagine. She had grown up fascinated by the skies, her childhood spent staring at planes soaring above her small neighborhood. Through sheer determination, she had studied aviation in secret, poring over books and scraping together money for flying lessons. She had earned her pilot's license quietly, without fanfare, because she knew that in an industry dominated by privilege, her race, gender, and background would always make people doubt her. Still, she worked as a cleaner, blending into the background, carrying her dream close to her chest. For Maya, it wasn't just about flying. It was about breaking barriers, proving that greatness could come from anywhere. But she also knew the harsh reality. People judged by appearances, not by truth. And one evening, as the sun painted the sky gold, her hidden truth was about to be tested in the most public way imaginable. That night, a millionaire named Richard arrived at the runway with his entourage. He was the kind of man who thrived on attention, known for his arrogance and cruel jokes at the expense of others. Surrounded by his friends, he noticed Maya standing near the plane she had just cleaned. With a smirk, he decided she would be the target of his amusement. What began as laughter and mockery soon turned into a dare that echoed across the terminal. "If you can fly this jet," he sneered, "I'll marry you." His friends roared with laughter, pointing at Maya as though the idea was absurd. The crowd looked at her uniform, her gloves, her silent posture. To them, she was just a cleaner. But Maya's heart beat steadily because only she knew the storm that was about to break. As the laughter grew louder, Maya stood still, her eyes fixed on the jet behind them. Every insult thrown her way was sharp, but none could pierce her spirit. She had heard it all before. Words that said she wasn't enough, that her place was only on the ground, never in the sky. Yet in that moment, she felt a quiet fire awaken inside her. Richard leaned closer, expecting her to walk away humiliated. But instead, Maya stepped forward. The murmurs rippled through the crowd. Was she really going to take the dare? Gasps and whispers filled the air as she climbed the steps to the cockpit. Many thought she was bluffing, that she would be thrown out in seconds. But with every movement, Maya carried a calm confidence that unsettled even Richard. Inside the cockpit, her hands moved with practiced ease across the controls. Her training, her sacrifices, her years of silence, all converged in this one moment. As the engines roared to life, the laughter outside turned into stunned silence. The plane's lights flickered on, the runway began to vibrate, and suddenly the impossible was no longer just a dream. Maya was about to prove that the cleaner they mocked was capable of something none of them had imagined. The roar of the jet's engines silenced the crowd as Maya guided the massive machine down the runway. Eyes widened, jaws dropped, and Richard's smug grin vanished. What was supposed to be a cruel joke had transformed into a spectacle of awe and disbelief. The plane lifted gracefully into the evening sky, climbing higher and higher as the city lights sparkled below. From the ground, people craned their necks to watch in stunned silence. Some pulled out phones to record, their laughter replaced with gasps of admiration. In that instant, Maya wasn't a cleaner. She wasn't invisible. She was a pilot commanding the skies with strength and precision. When she finally landed, the jet rolled to a perfect stop. The silence that followed was deafening, until it was broken by scattered applause that grew into thunderous cheers. Richard's face was pale, his arrogance shattered. The words he had thrown at her moments ago now hung in the air like chains he couldn't escape. He had promised to marry her if she could fly the plane. Now he stood speechless, exposed before everyone, not just for underestimating Maya, but for the ugliness of his prejudice. As Maya stepped down from the cockpit, the crowd parted like waves before her. For the first time, their eyes did not look through her. They looked at her with awe, respect, and shame for ever having doubted her. Richard tried to laugh it off, but his voice cracked. The power he once wielded so easily had crumbled in front of everyone, destroyed by the truth he could never take back. Maya didn't need his marriage, his approval, or his wealth. She had already proven something far greater. In that moment, she showed the world that talent, intelligence, and strength know no uniform, no skin color, and no social class. She had carried her dream in silence for years, and now it had taken flight for all to see. But the impact went beyond her victory over Richard. For every worker who felt invisible, for every woman told she couldn't rise, for every person of color who faced doors slammed in their face, Maya's story became a beacon. It reminded them that sometimes the greatest strength lies in silence, in waiting for the right moment to unleash the truth that changes everything. Richard's mockery was forgotten, replaced by the unforgettable image of Maya soaring above them in the very plane he thought would humiliate her. And while he would forever be remembered as the man who underestimated her, Maya's name would be remembered for something far greater: resilience, dignity, and the courage to rise above prejudice. So the next time someone dares to define you by what they see, remember Maya. Remember the jet that silenced laughter. Remember the secret that turned humiliation into triumph. And ask yourself, how many hidden pilots walk among us, underestimated, unseen, just waiting for the moment to take flight?